Alright guys, so somebody asked me to do a brow tutorial.
Hey guys, so what had happened was I did shoot a whole video, but I wanted to do a brow tutorial in the beginning, and while editing I saw that it took about 7 minutes, so I just decided I'm going to break up the video into two. This is going to be the brow tutorial part, and next week I'm going to post the actual look, so bear with me. Alright, back to the regular scheduled program. Bye!
I feel kind of weird because there's so many like brow tutorials out there, but I'm just going to do a really quick one. I'm going to use the Morphe E29 brush. It has a angled brush on the end and a spoolie, and what I do is I have a big mirror. I'm just going to use my Tartelette palette, and I brush the hairs in the directions that I want it to go. And then I'm going to go in with the Brow by Benefit. This is in the shade 5. I actually think I'm going to pick up 6 because 5 sometimes is too dark. It's too light for me, but it works. So I just go ahead and get a good amount in there. And what I do is I take my brush and I outline how I want. Like, I just follow the shape of the bottom of my brows more so than anything. The good thing about using brow pomades is that you can always overdraw your brows and then clean it up later with concealer. I just fill it in as much as I can. A lot of the times, honestly, I don't like using pomades. I just go in with like a pencil, but for the sake of this tutorial, and you see how I'm just like overdrawing it. I'm just overdrawing everything. And I do the same on the other side. When I get it to the point that I like, I still want to go in and make it a little deeper. So I always reach for a brow pencil. I just get this from like a beauty store. And with this one, I'm a little bit more. I live by a military base, so planes, stages. So I'm gonna go in with the brown pencil, and with this I'm a little bit more precise in where I place it. I just go over. I like a natural looking brow, like the hairs. So if you see, I'm just kind of like drawing all over the place, really. I'm gonna do the same on this end. And for me, this is like the transformation part. I always take a concealer brush, preferably a round top flat brush, and I go in with my concealer. Lately, I'm obsessed with the NARS, what do you call it? The soft matte concealers. I use the shade Cacao, and I'm gonna dip my brow in. I love this for under my eye, my eyebrows. Like, I'm sorry, this gave my Shape Tape a run for its money. So I just dip it in there. And I'm very careful. This is where like you have to be extremely, I can't talk and do this part, so just watch as I do it. And then when I like the shape that it is, I go in the top and I mimic what I did on the bottom. But what I do is I make sure I follow the arch very well. The ending of your brow is where usually people have a problem with. You have to know what kind of brow shape you want. So if I were to take this line and go straight out, I would have more of a straight brow, but I like a little bit of an arch in my brow. So whenever I get to this high point right here in my brow, I just dip my brush. I dip my brows like I dip my brush with my concealer on it down to create the kind of downward arch that I want, just like this. And then I always drag the concealer down very, like, ever so gently. I'm not rough with it at all. And we're gonna go on top, and then this part here, I start, see, it's very messy from what we did, and you want to make sure you clean it up. This is where you get the shape of your brow. So I'm gonna go in, determine what thickness I want. This looks about right. And when I get to the top part of my brow, I start to shape it. So I start to bring it downward to create the shape that I want, and then I join it to the end. Can clean up the bottom a little bit. This is why I say that it's always better to overdraw your brows. This way, even if you mess up, you always have like more than enough room to clean it up. And what I do is I don't take it close to the brow line. I just take the concealer and I fan it out. I get as close as I can without disturbing it. And then on the edge of my brow, I go ahead and fan it out. I don't like a very harsh line, and I keep going, and I almost take the concealer and put it into my actual hairs just so that it spreads it out. I'm also going to take my spoolie and brush the hair upward, just in the front part. Just brush it up to make it look more natural. And there you have your brow. You see the difference? See that? So don't be scared about it being all messy right here. You know, when you create it with your pomade and everything, you can always go in with your concealer and get exactly the arch that you want. So I hope this helped.